here.
All right. This story is really true. They really did clear cut a forest just so they could have a climate conference.
Yes, we're looking at 8 miles of virgin tropical Amazon rainforest were clear-cut here so that they could put in this highway to allow the private jets and to allow all the SUVs and limousines of all the world leaders and celebrities that are pumping in here the next 2 weeks. They could have a freer time getting around the city. After all, this is about them, right? And what's amazing is the Brazilian environmental minister actually told the BBC, which, by the way, kudos to the BBC for breaking this story. They had the exclusive on this, how the highway was built, deforestation of tens of thousands of acres for this highway in Belém, Brazil, for this summit. But the environmental minister actually said we had to clear out the forest so we could bring in as many people as possible so we can showcase to the world how we're saving the rainforest. So they had to cut, in other words, they had to cut the forest down so they could bring more people to show. It was, you can't make these kind of absurdities up. And for decades, we were told, you got to save the Amazon, deforestation, you know, it hurts climate. And here they had no problem whatsoever in clear cutting this forest here. And we've now dubbed the whole conference, not COP30, but Clear Cut 30.
I love it.
That's a memorable one.
Mark, what's amazing about this to me is that this is no different than all of these climate activists who take G7s and crisscross the globe, and their justification is always, well, we have to do this, we have to take this on, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it's because we are the important ones and we're the ones who are going to save the world. Yes. Does anyone ever on that side of the movement ever see the hypocrisy in it?
No, they don't. And I think the lead person there would be someone like Bill Gates, who hasn't shown his face here yet, but he may. He's always said, you know, oh, of course I have to fly on private jets and I do this, but I buy carbon offsets. So they really do take carbon offsets seriously here. I mean, it's usually just a punchline for the vast majority of humanity. But these few billionaires and climate activists, to them, that's sacred. Oh, I bought my carbon offsets. I'm perfectly fine. I could remember John Kerry when he went to Iceland to pick up an environmental award in a private jet, basically told the Icelandic reporter, do you know who I am? I'm John Kerry. I'm saving the planet. Of course I need to get around in a private jet. And this, what's ironic is they picked this city of Belém. The statistics are staggering. 80% of the people in the city that they chose as the host city do not have access to sewage, to any kind of sewage. So this shit, you can go outside. Where I'm staying here, there's collapsed infrastructure, trash all over the streets, piles of trash, stray dogs, stray cats. This is a depressed city, and to think that somehow net zero is going to save the billion people who have energy poverty is just insane. But that's what this UN summit is all about. Gavin Newsom participated today. I think he was actually in Sao Paulo at a side event, but basically declared himself the informed, unofficial U.S. climate ambassador because Donald Trump wouldn't send anyone, which bothered me because I had already declared myself the unofficial U.S. delegation representative. So I'm actually battling this out with Gavin Newsom over who's in charge here. I'm like, Al Haig, I'm in charge here, and Gavin Newsom's disputing that.
An Al Haig moment in the climate movement. How about that? Mark, I want to turn to China. It burns more coal every day, every single day. It has some of the worst pollution standards in the world, and yet somehow it always feels like the darling at these conferences. Why does the Western climate people worship China when its record is contrary to its wishes?
Great question. Here's what happened. Today was the first day of the conference. I literally walked through the main entrance, finally got my badge scanned. What is one of the very first things you see is a gigantic China, I guess they call them exhibits, or, you know, they're they have like giant big stages. China had 2 flags up. They had multiple books by Xi Jinping all over the table. They had the most well-attended event. You was standing room only. You couldn't even get into the event. And China, a foreign ambassador, actually said, we are pushing global climate governance here at COP30. Why wouldn't China be pushing global climate governance? It's for one simple reason. They literally are the single greatest beneficiaries of the entire United Nations net zero climate agenda. Donald Trump's 2012 tweet exactly laid it out. Global warming was invented so that China could basically become the globally dominant single economic superpower. And that's exactly what we have. In fact, China is seen now by the delegates and the activists here, the climate activists, as the hero of the summit. Donald Trump is being trashed for not, attending or sending a delegation and for pulling out of Paris. And hopefully he's going to pull us out of the 1992 Rio Earth Summit Treaty. But China, in response to that, doubled down on future commitments. So they haven't done anything. Remember, they're building 2 coal plants a week on average, but they're pledging in the future to do more. And that's enough for the activists here who are giving them standing room only events. And, who knows? I bet Xi Jinping's book is flying off the shelves here at the UN Climate Summit.